Tracy and the Big D, it's lovely when we get to catch up with people we haven't spoken to for a while, and this bloke is a real cowboy. And I'll tell you something, Trace.
Oh, here we go. I'm getting the lecture already.
No, you're not getting a lecture at all. You know, you're a big fan of artists using merchandise, stubby coolers and mouse pads and all of that sort of stuff. And you said to me once the most unusual piece of merchandise you saw was 8x8 and had
the baby bibs.
A baby bib. Everything like that. Well,
Okay.
Our next guest has got out there things for stock. Cows, sheep, that sort of thing. Let's bring him into the conversation and welcome a real cowboy, Steve Eales, to the 104.9 Sunshine FM. G'day, Steve. How you going?
It's great to be back on the show. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I feel like I'm being cornered here. Have you guys been talking or something?
No. The merchandise is Steve's got his own brand of cattle tags. So, you know, sticking in the
I've
cow's
seen them
ear.
on cowboys' hats and things like that. That's a pretty clever
Well, these
idea,
ones
Steve.
are sitting there in the cow's ear or that sort of thing. They go in the ear, don't they?
Yeah, there's cow tags and sheep tags.
So they ID them and they put their number on them and everything, but they got the Steve Eales logo on them.
Nice
That's
work.
right.
So how much cattle's running around there that now is your possession? Because, you know...
You know, there's a bit of history with the Eales family. Back in something like 876, there's a fellow named John Eales was the richest man in the Southern Hemisphere. And down outside of Newcastle, he owned the Hunter River steam packet, and he was so rich, and he had so many head of cattle that he had a falling out with his bank manager. So he took his money across the road to the other bank.
Ooh.
But back in the time, it was gold bullion, and it took him all day with all his men and his cattle and his drays to take the gold out of one bank and put it in the other. So I figure it's in the family, and I owe it to the family name, to the Eales name, to be right up there as a cattle baron. What do you reckon?
That sounds pretty good. Had they found the big bars of bullion? Like, where are they now?
Yeah, look, I'd like to know that too.
Yes.
I think the story goes that his son was a brilliant engineer, but a mad scientist, and he built one of Australia's first cars. He built it by hand in the barn, but being the mad scientist type, he built it the wrong way, so he couldn't actually roll it out. It was sideways to the door. And the barn still exists. It's a big stone barn. So he had to pull it apart, and they use it for farm implements.
And see, this is why Steve can't just write songs. He's got to do books and everything because he's got some great stories to tell.
That's exactly right. Full of it.
Full of it. Oh, okay. I wasn't going to go that far.
Look, it's a true story, though.
So the life, the cattle life and all of that and the history, does that help you when you're coming to your songwriting?
I guess it does. I'm a bit of... when I work with Garth Porter, one of his things was everywhere you go, you've got to be a sponge for information, ideas, and for thoughts. It's all about the inspiration, and it could be like something in our conversation that we have now that's a split second of an inspiration, and I can build it. I could write a book about it. It's all about little fleeting ideas that go past in your mind, and we have billions of them every day. But one will stick, and you'll think that's a good idea, and that's where songs come from, out of those feelings and those inspirations.
So over your songwriting period, how many songs do you think you may have written?
I've got nearly 200 registered, over 100 recorded, and there's a ton that I haven't even bothered registering it. I kind of get to the stage with my songwriting now. I used to just write if I wrote 10 songs, 2 of them or 3 of them would be okay. But I kind of got a filter inside of me now, so I can feel if it's not going anywhere.
Right.
So I'll dismiss it and start again with something else.
Are there any songs from maybe the earlier day that might be a bit of gold sitting waiting there to be polished off? That, a little bit of magic to them and they might be something special?
There's a song that I wrote for the second Sovereign album, which is called Drover's Son, which it got dismissed because there was a few other songs on the album that were very similar that I later recorded, and because I didn't have the Sovereign band to do it, and it was kind of a Sovereign feel, the new band that I had didn't have that same Sovereign feel and sound, so I recorded it all myself. I played all the instruments and did all the harmony, so it sounds like a Sovereign song, and I released it just gently to a few radio stations in Victoria, and it went really well, but I never put it out there. So it's available. You can listen to it on my website, and you can actually buy it for 90 cents. And it's a classic piece of Australian type history and song.
We're speaking with Steve Eales. He's got a brand new song out at the moment called 'Cause I'm Country. It's been great to catch up with you, Steve. People, if you want to find out more about Steve Eales, you can jump on his website and have a look at the great collection of music, the great array, the merchandise in there, and find out a little bit more about it. And, of course, the books. So we're going out now. The album's called The Open Road, and we're going to play track 12 off the album, and it's 'Cause I'm Country. It's been so good to catch up with you again, Steve. We're not going to leave it so long next time, and we'll do it again very soon.
Thanks for having me.